Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
Somewhere between science and superstition.
We have such sights to show you.
Strange Eons. Welcome to Strange Eons Radio. That is Eric over there.
Hello.
That is Vanessa over there.
Hello.
I am Kelly. You guys, I'm so pleased to be sitting here in person with you, but
Yes.
even more pleased that yesterday we hung out as friends.
We're friends.
Hey.
For
With
real.
no microphones in front of us, and we just talked about shit, and nobody cared about anything.
It's nice. It's like when you are, talking to somebody online and you've got a connection and you think it's real and then you see them in real life and you're like, oh God, is it?
Yeah.
But it is.
Yeah.
It is. We have actual good friendship chemistry.
I said all the racist, sexist things I wanted, and Eric didn't edit them out. So it made me feel loved. Unlike this show. Speaking of not being loved, Joker 2, 82% drop in the second weekend.
Woofda. Wow. Oh my God. I was so ready to see it and now I'm like, I don't know,
I'm
man.
the opposite. I was so meh with the original Joker. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, maybe I'll see the sequel at some point. But the vitriol is so strong.
Yeah.
And so ridiculous. Like, I mean, I'm not going to go to the theater and see it, but when it pops up on Max or whatever streaming service eventually has it, I might watch it.
Yeah.
But
It seems like Todd Phillips was very much like okay, well, fuck you, DC. But my question is, why?
Right.
Why did you want to? I mean, there is a fan base. The villain is arguably the most recognizable villain in the DC catalog, right?
Sure, yeah.
So why would you go out of your way to piss off that fan base?
Yeah, is it just the fans? Because he got so much creative freedom in that first film. Like, why would you be mad about it? You got to do exactly what you wanted. I just don't.
I wonder if I have no idea, if his reaction, he didn't like the reaction. Sort of like a lot of films aren't what people think they are.
Yeah.
But that thinking of what they are becomes so prevalent that it sort of becomes what the movie's kind of about. I think a good example is Fight Club,
Right.
which has been turned into this weird toxic masculinity thing. But if you actually watch the film, that's not what it is at all.
Right. No.
It's ripping apart the concept of exactly what people think it's about. So it's
Yeah.
but it's to the point now where it's been drilled in so much online that I think a lot of people just reflexively go, oh, yeah, that's the movie that Brad Pitt's a toxic
Do we
asshole in.
know what the criticism is? Is it that it's boring? Is that it's like weird? Like I
think two of the words I've heard.
A little
because if it's
column A, a little
weird,
column B.
I'm interested enough. But
It's weird. I mean, it's a fucking musical, right?
Yeah.
So that's weird, right
that's weird.
there.
But we all knew it was going to be a musical. So
Told you never to
do
call
you
me
have
here.
more important things happening right now, Kelly?
No, I'm so
than
sorry.
being
I'm
on the
so
show?
sorry. Hold on a second. I got to take this. Sell.
No, I'm going to make sure mine's on mute. And we're on
Mine's
mute.
good.
If you get a phone call, we're in real trouble, Eric.
Airplane mode.
Excellent.
Yeah, I am like you, Eric. I had no intention of seeing this just because I just didn't care for the take on the first film. But now my curiosity is definitely peaked on this. I'm like, well,
Right.
God, I gotta know why it's so bad.
Right.
We got Lady Gaga in it. She's amazing usually.
Great.
Joaquin Phoenix is amazing. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot
Check it
of
out.
the people, the insiders, are saying it's because Bradley Cooper not involved,
Huh.
What
which
was his
seems weird
involvement in the first
when
one.
I say that, right? But he
Yeah.
was a producer on the first one, and he and Todd Phillips have a production company that Cooper dissolved last year.
Oh.
So
interesting.
a lot of people are saying that he was the bigger fan and maybe the rudder of the first film.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I can see if you just straight up are like, never mind, don't worry about anything having to do with the Joker's origin story or the DC universe. I mean, kind of separated himself in the first one, but maybe it's even further away in the second.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
don't know.
weird that Harley is not a therapist and that she's a patient and that she's really into setting fires. So I was like, that's new. So I don't know if that's a new take on her. I mean, I thought the lesbian thing was pretty exciting, but this is a whole new strain, I guess.
Right there with you with the lesbian thing.
It's great.
Yeah, animated shows, pretty freaking awesome.
Yes, it's very good. It's very good.
I came home from hanging out with you guys, and I'm not going to get into what I watched immediately, which was From. But then I was just like, God, I was so invested in that show, and I was like, what am I possibly going to watch that's going to make me feel good tonight? Nothing can compare, right? So I put on a movie. Now, you guys are going to think I'm a little wacky, but I was like, I need something that I'm not going to compare to this. I put on Hellboy, the Crooked Man.
What is Hellboy the Crooked Man?
Yes, I'm not familiar with this.
Hellboy, the Crooked Man is the new feature Hellboy film.
Oh, the one with Sheriff whatever from Stranger Things?
No, the brand new feature film.
There's a new feature? I'm really behind on the Hellboy
I've seen the trailer for this, and the trailer looked like a fan film.
Okay.
It is very low budget. It is $20 million budget
Wow, okay.
compared to the $300 million budget of the David Harbour one.
Yeah.
So I was expecting it to look a little cheap. What I was not expecting was to fucking love it.
Really?
Oh, really?
To find it very scary in some scenes. It is a horror film that
my
has
God.
Hellboy in it. And it is it's folk horror. It's witches. A lot of it is in the daytime.
What?
It is in the 1950s.
What?
It's got a 33% on Rotten Tomatoes. Everybody fucking hates this movie. I ended up almost loving it more than anything but the first one.
What was it on? What is it on?
It's a rental.
Okay.
And your mileage may vary. Everybody seems to hate this film. I watched it and I was like, about 40 minutes in, I was like, Jesus Christ, this movie is really fucking creepy. I was not expecting it to get under my skin with some of the weird shit going on. And then when I got on IMDb to check it out and found out it only had a $20 million budget, I was like, why would they even think they could make a Hellboy movie for $20 million?
I mean, his costume alone.
This new actor, I don't know who he is. He plays him way different than Ron Perlman and David Harbour. He plays him very quiet and almost a Clint Eastwood delivery of some of his lines. And in fact, the weakest parts of the movie are when it's getting into a scary scene that, you know, if you had an actor in one of these A24 movies walk in and see this weird, burning, screaming woman, they'd start screaming or be a slow shot on their eyes getting whiter and everything. And instead it goes to Hellboy and he's like, crap. And I was like, I mean, I guess that's how he would react, but it did kind of drag me out of it. And I don't even quite understand what happened in the movie. It's very... it's broken up into weird chapters. It felt overly long, and then when I finished it, I was like, that was an hour and 40 minutes long. So I'm not sure why I felt like it was going on forever, but I was never bored, and I had a really, really good time with it. So I'm going to be the one person who liked Hellboy, the Crooked Man.
Maybe that 33% is like from 5 people, and if you put in your review, it's going to go up to like 50. So,
I read some of the reviews on IMDb, and they ranged from, 7 or 8 out of 10 stars saying, I'm not sure why everybody hates this, but most of it was 1 star. And Eric, your favorite review, this is the worst movie I've ever seen.
Oh.
Go out and see some more damn movies then.
Yeah, exactly. Go to a student graduation at a film school. You're gonna see some stuff. Hey, mine was one of them. Okay. Wow. Okay. Well, speaking of From, somebody got me interested in this freaking series, Kelly. And since last we have spoken, I have now seen 2 seasons and 4 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I have oscillated so wildly between being like, what the fuck, Kelly? And
Damn you!
and holy shit! And what the fuck? And holy shit! I've never felt the things I've been feeling watching this series. Definitely since, probably until I was watching Lost. I think was the last time I felt this way.
Yeah.
There's a lot of crossover. It's some of the same creators, but obviously I think they took away some of the lessons. They seem to have a better concept of maybe what is going on in this universe versus Lost, where they had to rewrite themselves very quickly.
Right.
So I don't know. It's good and it's horror as fuck. And there are many times where I'm like, the cat better not jump on anything right now because I am going to like pee myself. It was so freaking stressful watching this show.
Yeah, and everybody in it is so good.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll get taken out because there'll be like a close shot of the sheriff or something, and he's doing this thing, and I'll be like, there is a camera 18 inches away from him, and he's giving this performance.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just like, fucking hey, this guy is amazing. So, and I feel that way about everybody in the show, and everybody seems to know their character.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling, we all know that. So movies is a director's game and TV is a writer's game, right? So the director comes in and these actors pretty much know their characters now. So they just fucking say their lines and walk through their scenes. And I think they are all so comfortable with who they are that it just, I mean, Eric, why are you not watching this?
You know exactly why I'm not watching
31 days of October. 100 days
100
of
days.
Getting
Yeah.
close.
I will say season 2, there was a couple of moments where I felt like they were getting in some weird writing
Yeah.
territory where like people were just almost overacting at points. I don't know. I just felt like I was like, oh, I've seen you do this thing before a few times. And then some of the ladies got very hysterical. And I was like, there was one episode in particular where the wife is going through the caves.
Yes.
And there was a lot of like making lots of sounds when she wasn't supposed to make sounds, and she knows she's not supposed to make sounds, and she was making a lot of sounds. And I was like, we gotta not write this way, guys. Like, this is fucking stupid. You're making me think that this lady is stupid. And in that same episode, many characters who were female, who are typically very chill, were very unchill. And I was like, I don't know what the fuck is happening in this one. But there's been a few moments here and there where I'm like, you gotta I'm losing it, but then they'll drag me back in again and have some episode that's just incredible. So
Yeah, between that and Evil,
yeah,
I'm just like, I don't know if I'm going to find shows better than this ever again.
I know it's tough. Are you all fully caught up
I
then?
am.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, fucking the last 2 episodes, shit happening.
Good times, good times.
Indeed.
Well, spent last weekend at the H.P. Lovecraft Festival down in Portland.
Never heard of it.
Brian and Gwen and all those awesome people involved in making it, Gretchen and we've got that one guy that likes us, the weirdo who just let us in.
Bob. We sure love Bob.
Thank you for being so cool down there, dude. Anyway, so I watched a couple movies there. I really decided to go film festival watching for this one. I went to like 8 films, and since there's no longer a Bartels across the street to get energy drinks, I saw 6. But one of them was Strange Harvest, Cult Murder in the Inland Empire.
Oh,
Which-
I heard that was really good.
It is very good. It was introduced by Brian, kind of like, who all thinks they're watching a real documentary? Who all thinks they're not? And, it becomes relatively quickly aware that this is a mockumentary because the inventiveness of the killings and the strangeness is the world we rotate in, we would know about this killer. But it is really, really well done. The people playing the police detectives are completely believable in their roles and do just a great job of being the way they should be in that life. And the story is interesting and weird enough that it's really worth watching. I know a couple people who saw it one time, went back and watched it again during the
wow.
festival, and the second time it screened. It's just very smartly done. I don't have any idea when it's going to come out. That's the problem of talking about festival films, especially not a Telluride or a SIF even level festival where you know that movie's probably coming out in 2 months or something.
Right.
But I'm sure someone will pick up Strange Harvest, Cult Murder in the Inland Empire, which has nothing to do with David Lynch.
Does that have anything to do with California?
Yes.
Okay, well, there we go.
I don't know if it's a county or an area.
Inland Empire, yeah.
Yeah, isn't it like a warehousey district or something?
It takes up a bunch of different little counties that are kind of not as nice as.
An area caught in the middle of a bunch of high populated areas, sort of like where people go.
Man, I feel so uncool and so obviously not from California right now.
Yeah, I think you're okay with that.
It's interesting you mentioned that about festivals, Eric, or films that show at festivals, because you went to South by Southwest, Vanessa.
Years ago. Yeah.
Oh well, then what
What
did
was
you
the
go
one?
to?
I went to Fantastic Fest last year.
Fantastic Fest, and you saw a movie called Falling Stars, and I
Yes.
just saw that Willie Greer posted that he had seen it, and I was like, oh, awesome. Then I went searching for it. It's nowhere to be found. And I was like, God damn it, he's got a contact. That's okay. I've got contacts, but I would have happily rented that.
Yeah.
Okay, the other big one that I saw this week is Salem's Lot,
Yes, I've seen that as well.
HBO Max.
How was it?
It did not suck.
Right.
Cool.
I know there's a lot of vitriol towards it, but I thought it was a lot of fun. Of course, I haven't read the book since it shortly came out in paperback, whenever that was, early '80s, I think.
Yeah,
And
late 70s.
yeah, that was it. Yeah, but I enjoyed the hell out of it.
Yeah, I mean, there were things that kept pulling me out, but there's also that that realization that, okay, this is a 2.5 hour movie, maybe 2 hours, 10 minutes. And even if you were to just have the book on audiobook, that's a 9-hour book. So there's no way they're getting everything into this, and they streamlined it a lot. And maybe it would have worked better as a miniseries. But I thought that the vampire design was pretty cool. Definitely harkens back to Tobe Hooper's vampire design. In the book, Barlow is a very handsome man.
Oh, really?
He's not, he's a
Oh, wow.
traditionally handsome vampire that seduces the women. So that Barlow... in fact, when they did the Rob Lowe miniseries, I can't remember who played him in there, but it was a good-looking guy. And so that vampire is so iconic and scary-looking. I was totally fine with it. He was killed a little too quickly, I thought, at the end. And the third act veers wildly into action-adventure instead of the scary dread of the book. But... I don't know. I thought there was a lot to like about it, and there were scenes that were directly from the book in it that I was like, I can tell this is an adaptation. Here's the one thing that pulls me out of these movies. So it's set in 1974, I think, like the book. We, as a species, have evolved in the last 50 years, and it's hard to tell until you try making period films that you can push up against a film made from that period. So the lead in this is Bill Pullman's son. It took me forever to figure that out because I kept going, why does this guy look so familiar? And it looks just like his dad. But he does not look like he belongs from 1974. Even with sideburns and shaggy hair, he looks like a dude from the mid 2020s. When we get people like Emma Stone or Anna Taylor-Joy, whose eyes have moved way over. Pretty soon, we're all going to have eyes on the sides of our head. But you can't put those people into a period film because nobody looked like that back then. It just becomes very obvious. So this movie, the older people, the doctor, the guy who was playing Straker, they all kind of looked fine because they were older. But these 30-year-old kids look very out of place with sideburns and gigantic collars. But yeah, so that kind of throws me out every once in a while.
That's wild.
Yeah. So, I mean, the other thing is that they are probably the age they are supposed to be.
Yeah.
But we all look younger than we used to in the 70s.
Oh, shit.
So this guy who's playing David Soul's character looks like he should be David Soul's son, but he's probably within 5 years of the same age.
Yeah. That's been a strain. Like when you see the Golden Girls and you see the age they were, then you're like, what? No way.
Yeah.
But that's how we've changed.
Yeah, Eric, how old are you? 54.
Yeah. Same age.
I'm 55.
Oh, that's right. I will be same age you are. in a
You
little bit.
remember Barney Miller?
Oh, yeah.
You remember Fish, Abe Vigoda?
Oh, yeah.
He was 54.
Holy shit. See, I've seen few people that you see him that age, you go, okay, yeah, I can see that. But even now, no, at that age, and you should get that projection. No, he still looks like he's like 90 freaking years old.
Yeah, you look younger than Hal Linden, though. And Hal Linden was 38 in that show. So,
Oh my God.
yeah, things have changed. We have changed. We have evolved.
Microplastic preservation.
That's right.
Quick back on
I don't
the
know what everyone's complaining about.
roof. Keeping you young. You don't have to get plastic surgery. You are plastic surgery.
Salem's Lot is on HBO Max.
Incredible. Well, I went and saw Megalopolis.
Oh, my.
You did. Thank you for your service.
Yeah. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Oh, man.
What a fucking film. I can't recommend it, but I will say for a film that is truly very awful, I wasn't bored. I did make it all the way through and go, okay, I was entertained from start to end. So it was awful, but it wasn't like unwatchable.
Sure.
It was definitely, it felt like somebody's like, I'm 20 years old and I'm mad at the world and I can see how the world should be better film.
I don't know. I think that works for his age as well. There's a lot of people out there that are like, this is what the world should be.
Yeah, it feels very like, hey, like this is what perfection would be, damn it. But it's like the most obvious shit. It feels like something that, you know, guys I knew in high school who read Shakespeare for the first time would have written.
Yes.
And been like, oh God, this sounds so cool. I definitely didn't just like take iambic pentameter from, you know, the recent Hamlet I read in class and like restructure it for this. Like it felt very like, okay, this is somebody who's recently been watching Metropolis and, you know, read Hamlet and got really into, you know, what's the Ayn Rand book. It just feels very lecture-y. The story does not make a lot of sense. And there's a lot of moments where you're like, man, this is so woke. Wait a minute. You hired a bunch of canceled ass dudes and put this in the film specifically because he was like, I don't want people to think this is too woke.
Wow.
It's
Yeah,
problematic.
he's said that a lot.
As fuck. It is problematic as fuck. And there was one point where, and it's like weird because there's moments where it almost feels like anti-MAGA, but then there's also somebody yells like time's up, but in like a clearly scathing 2 times up way. And I was like, what side are you on, sir? I am so fucking confused. You're mad about something, but I don't know what it is. It's the girls are all terribly written. Their characters are shit. But Audrey Plaza does a great job with a shit character, so good job for her. What's his name? The lead, Kylo Ren. Fuck, sorry, I'm forgetting his.
I did not know he's in that.
The actors.
Kylo Ren, the guy who plays.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, he's the lead in it.
Man, I am out of it.
Yeah, no, he's great, but his character is very two-dimensional. It's. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a weird fucking movie. It's a fucking weird movie.
How does it look?
Pretty bad.
Oh.
So I think it would have been great if a lot more of it had been real. but it's clearly somebody who's using CGI to try to make stuff look real, and the CGI is very all over the map. There are times when there's moments where you're like, hey, that CGI looks kind of good, and other moments where you're like, oh god, it felt like very obvious in a sort of Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow moments where you're like, stylistic. All right.
Yeah.
You leaned into style to cover up lack of money, probably. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck. I don't know why it was made. I don't know why it's made now. I don't know. I don't know what he was trying to say with it other than like, our world sucks and it should be better if we're just good to each other.
Man, I'm torn. I kind of want to see this now myself. I'm also really sad because this is probably Coppola's last film, right? I mean, this is how he's going to go out.
Probably.
Maybe.
He still says he wants to do another one or two.
Yeah, but who will let him?
Yeah. Well, he financed this himself. He
Right.
paid for this movie out
That
of his
makes
wine
so
profits.
much
Right.
sense. That makes so much sense.
I like his wine.
Yeah. That is-
But he still had to find a distributor, though. So somebody bought the movie off of him.
I don't know. I haven't read about that. But I mean, you can self-distribute if you've got enough money.
I guess.
But I don't know who did it have any Paramount or Warner Brothers or anybody at the front? You can
I
remember?
wasn't really paying enough attention to
Well,
that
anymore,
part.
there's like 15 of those at the start of most
Yeah.
films, so
Yeah.
it might have been.
Megalopolis.
Megalopolis. Watch at your own risk. I will say it's probably worth, if you're going to see it in theaters because there is a lot of scope going on. So, but that's my, I always think you should see stuff in theaters.
You are the most theater-going person I know.
I am not seeing this in theater.
Well, I go at 10 o'clock at night and there's no one else there. So it's very nice.
Oh,
All right.
that helps. All right, another one from Lovecraft Festival. This is actually my favorite one from the festival. Can't wholeheartedly recommend it to Kelly, though, because it's a
Found
found
footage.
footage. It's called Dream Eater. And the idea is there's a couple, and the guy is a sleepwalker, and he's getting progressively more violent. And they are trying to figure out why. Part of what makes this movie work, which is the downfall of so many modern horror films, both lead characters are likable and somebody you hope the best for as you're watching this, even as stuff really falls apart and opinions rotate a little. But in the beginning, it's like, okay, this is a neat couple. They got a little bit of the argument crap that you always get in movies like this, but it's not obnoxious. It's not to the point where, yeah, you two should be separated. There's no reason you should like each other. I know why you're fighting, so you can get back together, and that can be your character arc, whatever. But theirs was a realistic level of fighting where there's some stressful shit going on, so you're snapping at each other a little bit. And it worked really well. It was they credited 3 directors. The director and then the 2 leads were included as directors in the film. And they did a lot. I guess they did a lot of their own stuff. They were in the woods of, I think, Toronto in winter. So we're talking like feet of snow around them.
Oh, wow.
Isolated that way. And the sound was amazing because you get that great sound you almost never get in movies with snow, where the crust freezes over the top and you walk on it. They had that going, and I was like, pretty cool. And they did the decision, they go back and forth. Should we do music or not? Found footage, like, screw it. It makes it a better movie. We're adding music. But again, found footage. So I'm sure a lot of people go, whatever, dude, this is not any good. But I thought it was really interesting and well worth watching. And I just liked watching a movie where I didn't think, okay, can I kind of like this character? I mean, there's 75 people in this movie and none of them are likable. So, but this was well done. And they were there, so I chatted with them a little bit. Really, really fun group of people who were truly excited about the screening that they had, because it was it's Lovecraft, so the theater was packed.
Yeah.
The reception was huge. It was really, really cool.
That's very cool. Yeah, I saw you talking with them, and you looked pretty pleased afterwards. Was something going on there?
Well, I'm trying to see if maybe it's so far away. I'd like to screen it at Crypticon Seattle,
Yeah.
but usually, and this happens every year, we just opened for submissions a couple days ago, and I'll get 2 or 3 features that are pretty good. And then I know this is going to be sold and out for distribution by the time we hit in May.
Sure.
So I would be really surprised if they are not distributed, because it's very competently made. It looks good. It sounds really good for a found footage film.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for any film, it sounds good.
You were not the only person to say how great that film was there, so I might have to put aside my found footage hatred. That was called Dream Eater.
Yeah.
Hopefully at a festival near you. Why don't we take a little break, guys? And then when we come back, we're...
Do you want to thank people?
We can certainly do that. Yeah, I know that we talk about the value for value model here, which is if you get any value out of this, give a little value back. You get to decide how much value you get out of it that way. And with that in mind, I know that Ron paid in handsomely.
Ron reached out to me when our 2 baseball teams were playing. And he's like, make you a bet. If I win, I forget his breakdown of runs and all this stuff. He came up with this great complicated idea that was really cool. And in an amazing thing, the Mariners actually, I think, swept them.
Oh,
whoa!
They
sorry,
didn't do a lot
Ron.
of that this year, so sorry there. But so yeah, that was fun, and then he came through on the bet.
That's very nice.
But also said, thanks for all you do every week to put out a highly entertaining podcast for your family, friends, and legion of listeners. Keep it strange.
Oh,
That's so
thank you,
cool.
Ron. You might have to look up the word legion. I don't think you're using it correctly. Also donating was Tom, who hates all of our Marvel movie talk.
Oh, yeah.
But still listens to the show and liked it well enough to throw some value at it.
And he's challenged you to a movie, so we'll see when you can get to that.
Yeah, which looks very cool. I looked it up on Wikipedia, and I was like, how have I not seen this already?
That's awesome.
Sounds very good. I think that they have talked many times about this on the Pure Cinema podcast.
Oh.
So thank you very much for that, Tom. We really appreciate that.
Thank you, Tom.
And thanks to everybody who does that, who donates whatever amount you like. It might not seem like a lot compared to what other people are donating, but if it seems like a lot to you, that's all that matters.
Yeah, exactly.
So thanks to everybody who does that. Okay, now we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're starting off our month of Toho films.
Toho!
It's Octohober.
So easy to remember.
All right, we'll be right back.
Japan releases around 1,200 films every year, and they're very popular at theaters. The screen has always captured imaginations, and probably always will. It's one of those things that never changes. There's something else that doesn't change either. Where there are films, there must be a place to make them. Toho Studios, the largest film studio in Japan. The nearly 80,000 square meters site is busy day and night, producing around 60 movies and dramas a year, plus another 200 television commercials. It is a factory, a place where dreams and entertainment are made. The studio started back when silent movies were beginning to give way to talkies. Out in the fields of Musashino, in suburban Tokyo, 2 stages were built. They were known as the Chalk Palace, and they later became Toho Studios. Toho itself was incorporated in 1943 to create an exclusive production and distribution system. Photochemical Laboratory changed its name to Toho Studios at that time. Movies were now the king of entertainment. The company continued to build and enhance its studios as it mass-produced films. The 2 stages were said to be the largest in East Asia. and they were joined by a dubbing room to create more realistic sound for bigger and bigger theaters and a large pool for special effects.
Hello?
Let's see who's called the Strange Eons radio hotline.
Hi, guys. It's Micah. Thought I'd give you a call before I actually show up in person in a little over a week. But, yeah, so I was just entertained by that whole confluence of ideas of everyone confusing their monkey movies. So Kelly thinks the end of Blue Monkey is actually the end from another film called Primal Rage. Vanessa, in turn, is confusing Primal Rage with Shakma, which she's talking about the beginning of Shakma, but the end of it is Primal Rage. So there you go. There is the Micah Monkey movie update. Thank you. I will see you later. Bye.
If you'd like to call the Strange Eons radio hotline, dial 253-237-4266.
Nobody hangs up on me.
And we have returned. I guess this is kind of my topic choice because I chose it for all of us.
Yeah.
I had such a good time with our Toho films thing the last time that I was like, how can we do more Toho?
Yes.
And so for this month, what's left of it, we're doing Octohober. So all films from Toho. With that in mind, I'm going to put 5 minutes on the Strange Eons.
Ooh, la la.
And
Doesn't make it less intimidating.
Hey, that's on the back. So.
And I'm talking about a movie from 2015 called I Am a Hero.
俺の名前は鈴木秀夫、35歳漫画家アシスタント。彼女とは破局寸前。そんな最低な毎日がある日突然終わりを告げる。え？何が起きているんですか？都内では火災や事故が相次いで発生していますが、誰？私もどうしてください。新型ウイルス特別対策。ウイルスで人格崩壊。早急。標高の高いところは感染しない。富士山に登れ。もしもあんたがこの子と一緒に逃げるっていうなら、ここを出よう。生き残りたければ、奴らを倒せ。来た。このヤバい世界でこの男は本当のヒーローになれるのか。てめえで助かろう。自分が助けろ。ヒーロー。俺が君を守る。I am a hero。絶叫のゾキュンパニック。一人では危険です。
Directed by Shinsuke Sato, who has 28 credits, including Death Note, Light Up the New World, Bleach, and he created and directed all 16 episodes of Alice in Borderland, which I know we liked.
That was very good.
Yeah. Written by Kengo Hanazawa, who has 6 credits because he is the manga creator of this and 5 other mangas that have been turned into films and TV. It was also written by Akiko Nogi, who has 21 credits. He's the actual scriptwriter. He wrote Library Wars, We Married as a Job Special, and Let's Go Karaoke! Exclamation point.
Excellent.
Starring Yo Oizumi, 94 credits, including Tokyo Ghoul, Full Metal Alchemist, and Phases of the Moon. Kasumi Aramura, who has 71 credits, including Samurai Angel Wars, Call Me Chihiro, and Phases of the Moon again. And also Masami Nagasawa, who has 103 credits, including Detective Chinatown 3, Shin Ultraman, and Shin Kamen Rider. Shin means rebirth.
Oh.
Or new.
Oh, I didn't know this.
All right.
Trivia
Yeah,
already.
dropping some fucking knowledge on you guys. Knowledge bombs. I Am a Hero. Have you guys ever even heard of this movie?
No.
The only reason I have is because I almost did it myself, and then I said, I'll do something else. But
Okay.
It looks really good.
Spoiler, this movie is really fucking good. This is based on a manga that did gangbusters business in 2015 and spawned a number of, I guess, sidequels, you would call them. If I had known this was going to be a zombie movie, I probably would have skipped it. And that would have been my bad because this movie is really, really good. It tells the story of Hideo, who is kind of a down on his luck schlub. He's working for a small comic book company, but his art isn't getting picked up, and he's living with his girlfriend, who's getting pretty tired of them being broke. The one thing he has going for him is that he is a crack shot with a shotgun, which is a sporting thing, obviously. In Japan, you're not allowed to own a gun in the same fashion as you are in the U.S. Anyway, they don't get into how or why the zombie outbreak happens, but we see the signs coming even if Hideo does not. Pretty soon his girlfriend is sick and she attacks him, and he gets away by accidentally killing her. And then we go into a full-blown zombie outbreak scene that's pretty damn impressive, kind of along the lines of that opening scene for World War Z, but on a much smaller budget. In the scene, we see Hideo pull his rifle and shoot it, except it turns out to be a fantasy. And we start realizing he's so scared of breaking the law that even in this moment of life or death, he's unable to pull out the gun in public. And this is kind of going to be his character arc, is that he's kind of a scared person. And he is not a hero, no matter what the title of this show is. He ends up rescuing a young girl and then sees that she has been bitten, maybe. She has a weird mark on her neck, but she says that she was bitten by a baby a couple days earlier. It's a good scene that could have played out longer, but pretty quickly realized she was infected. But for some reason, maybe because the baby wasn't very sick at the time, or it's just a baby, the zombifying her only goes about halfway. It makes one of her eyes go white and gives her some obvious brain damage, but she's not intent on killing anybody. And Hideo takes it upon himself to get them to safety. There is a very cool scene where they meet up with some other survivors and stuff like that, and he gets his rifle taken away from him because he can't bring himself to use it. And these other survivors understand that an excellent weapon this would be against the zombies. What struck me most, and you guys can tell me if you find this out in Japanese films in particular, this was really fast-paced, and it followed the hero's journey and 3-act structure very, very closely. Almost as if somebody had read Blake Snyder's Save the Cat book and then wrote the movie.
Sure.
So, and that could be. Yeah. Not very many Asian films do that. So, trivia. Not a ton of trivia about the movie, so I'll talk a little about the manga. I Am a Hero, written and illustrated by Kengo Hanazawa, was serialized in Shogakukan's Seinen Manga Magazine Weekly Big Comic Spirits.
Whoa. From
April 27th, 2009 to February 27th, 2017. I'm out. There's a couple of things here. In a list of 10 great zombie manga, Anime News Network's Jason Thompson placed I Am a Hero at number 1, considering it probably the greatest zombie manga ever. Whatever that means. I don't know how many zombie mangas there are.
Probably a lot.
There are 3 spin-off mangas set in the same universe titled I Am a Hero in Osaka, I Am a Hero in Ibaraki, and I Am a Hero in Nagasaki. And in North America, Dark Horse Comics announced in May 2015 the license to the manga for English language release, with plans for a 2-in-1 omnibus format release starting in 2016. The first volume was published on April 13th, and the 11th and final volume was published on October 23rd, 2019. So I'm going to be picking those up from Dark Horse.
Nice.
The film is I Am a Hero. It was a rental. I did not feel bad. I feel bad that I didn't just spend $3 more to own it.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I wish they would let you adjust that after you've watched it and you're like, damn it, I actually would like to buy this thing.
Yeah, because I'd like to watch it again. It was really very cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you saw this on Amazon as a rental? Or?
Yeah, it must have been. Okay. I don't know who else I would rent from.
Likely.
Yeah. Nice.
So, Vanessa, you want to go next?
Sure. Yeah. All right. So I had talked about wanting to have done this last time around and not doing it because I felt like it was just kind of a cop-out. But screw it. I'm doing Detective Pikachu from 2019.
Welcome to Rhyme City, a celebration of the harmony between humans and Pokemon.
Tim, your dad was a legend in this precinct. If you were anything like your dad...
I'm not.
I remember. You wanted to be a Pokemon trainer when you were young.
Yeah, that didn't really work out. Someone there? Whoever you are, I know how to use this.
Oh, jeez. Here we go. I know you can't understand me, but put down the stapler or I will electrocute you.
Did you just talk?
Whoa. Did you just understand me? Oh my God, you can understand me. Stop. I've been so lonely. They try to talk to me all the time. All they hear is Pika Pika.
You can hear him, right?
Pika Pika! Yeah, Pika Pika Pika. He's adorable.
You're adorable. They can't understand me, kid.
Can no one else hear him? I don't need a Pokemon, period.
Then what about a world-class detective? Because if you want to find your pops, I'm your best bet. We're gonna do this, you and me. There's magic that brought us together, and that magic is called hope. Listen up. We got ways to make you talk. Or mime.
Yeah.
So tell us what we want to know. Pipe. Yes. Okay. I can. Shoving. Pushing. My problem is that I push people away and then hate them for leaving.
He's saying you can shove it.
What? I can shove it? Okay, that's it. No, we're switching roles. I'm bad cop. You're good cop.
No, we're not cops.
In my head, I saw that differently.
An incredible Toho picture that was distributed by Toho in Japan. I saw it for free, or you can see it for free on Freevee. I also own it on Blu-ray.
Of course you do.
This will be the third or fourth time I've watched this movie. It has a budget of $150 million, but a box office of $450.1 million.
Wow.
Yeah, it did very well. Written and directed by Rob Letterman, who has 11 credits, including Shark Tale, Monsters vs. Aliens, and Goosebumps. It's also like co-written with Dan Hernandez and Benji Smith, who worked on the TMNT movie and Addams Family 2 cartoon, starring Ryan Reynolds, Justice Smith, who you probably saw in Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves, or I Saw the TV Glow, Catherine Newton from Freaky / Lisa Frankenstein / Abigail / Ant-Man and Wasp versus or Quantumania, Bill Nighy, Ken Watanabe, who was in Godzilla, Inception creator, Tokyo Vice, and many more people that you'll be like, they seem vaguely familiar. The story follows Tim, a slightly nervous, very awkward boy without a Pokemon, in a world where it seems like everyone else has already teamed up and found their perfect Pokemon match. His dream as a kid was to become a Pokemon trainer, but when his mother died and he became very estranged from his father, Harry, refusing to move to the city with him and staying instead and being raised by his grandmother, he becomes angry and distant and very soured on the Pokemon dream. I think she got sick or died on the day of his big match, so he just doesn't care about them. He is told that his father was killed in a car accident, and when he goes to Harry, his father's apartment, he discovers an amnesiac Pikachu who speaks, and Tim can actually understand him. If anyone's watched the show before, you'll know that the name of whatever the Pokemon is the thing that they say. So Pikachu will just walk around going, Pikachu, Pikachu. Instead, he hears Ryan Reynolds being a sassy motherfucker through this cute little fuzzy beast. Pikachu believes that Harry survived the crash and that it was not an accident. He is actually Harry's Pokemon, and he was with him when it happened, but he has no idea what happened. So Harry, who was a detective, was following info on a substance called R that makes Pokemon go crazy. The mystery seems to go all the way to the top, including the founder of Rhyme City, Howard Clifford, and a genetically engineered Pokemon called Mewtwo. So it's just kind of a odd couple mystery solving situation with a kid who does not want to be solving this mystery but is curious about what happened to his dad, and a Pokemon who keeps pushing him along the way and is very cute and very, very feels rated R in this film, along with a plucky, irritating, sassy girl named Lucy who teams up with them. She wants to do a big article and make her name as a reporter, along with Psyduck, who is her Pokemon, who is ready to explode at any moment. And I hate Psyducks in any form, so it's a little frustrating to watch, but that's okay. This is a funny, sweet film that's good for people who love or do not like Pokemon, including me. I have no other Pokemon thing in my life. This is it. This is the only Pokemon thing that I've watched or interacted with. So if I like it, odds are pretty good other people are going to like it. Ryan Reynolds is surprisingly, like I said, R-rated in this. It's way more adult than you expect it to be. For example, there's a moment where they're like cross-examining this mime and he does the Basic Instinct leg lift. But Justice Smith does a great job. He's very likable. It's just a really touching story about kind of fathers and sons learning to find each other, and the kind of weird situations that they sometimes find each other in.
I watched this on your recommendation long ago, and it is quite entertaining.
Yeah, it's fun.
Very good.
It's easy. It's just an easy watch. Yeah. I have a couple small pieces of trivia. Pete Dioni, a visual effects supervisor at NPC, stated that in designing the Pokemon for the film, one thing that the Pokemon company was uncompromising on was that all Pokemon, no matter the circumstances, need to remain adorable. Also, the day before the film's theatrical release, the entire movie was quote-unquote leaked on YouTube. In reality, clicking the video will play a minute of the film before cutting to a loop of Pikachu dancing for an hour and 45 minutes. And of which, of course, Ryan Reynolds was one of the main posters of this. And Bill Nighy had little knowledge of Pokemon when he started this, and by the end got really into it, studied up, and became quite a fan. So anyway,
God damn it! I guess I have to watch this.
I would say it's really worth watching.
If for no other reason than Ryan Reynolds Pikachu stuff,
he does a great job.
Yeah, he's fun.
Yeah,
I didn't realize it was kind of adult oriented.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, he is.
He is. Overall, it just feels like not something you would expect out of a Pokemon movie.
Yeah.
It just, I watched it and I was like, what the fuck? This is funny and interesting.
Now, the Pokemon are pocket monsters, right? As I understand it. And you have them in a little ball and then you release them to fight.
You can, but these Pokemon, they're kind of the world, so they're always just walking around. They're not like stored in the little shells.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there are battles throughout, but they're never like in the shell and you toss them and they come out like they do in the cartoon. They're just kind of already hanging out, and then they show up and then they can evolve or do their special moves within the battles. But yeah. Nope, okay. It's just a universe where there's a shit ton of Pokemon just walking around.
Wild.
Nice.
All right. Well, you've sold me. I'm going to watch this.
Please do. On Freeview. It's free.
Eric, how about you?
Yes. Okay, well, I have the longest title. JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, Diamond is Unbreakable, Chapter 1.
Stand. それは形ある超能力。これは一人のスタンド使いの高校生の物語。なん
だよその変な頭は。あ？今なんつった？
東方丈介。破壊されたものを治癒、再生する能力を持つ。え？
昨日転校してきた広瀬光一。いじめられたりしたら私が守ってあげる。
そして町の危機を知らせに来た一人の男。
この町に危険が迫っていることの証拠だ。
平和な町にゆっくりと忍び寄る邪悪なスタンド使い。
俺の邪魔をする奴は許せねえ。邪魔をされたのが強えのか。そいつは正義の味方のつもりか。一家皆殺しだ。
その悪意が愛する家族に迫る。
じいちゃん大丈夫、傷は完璧に。
絶対に許さねえ。悪いのはお前だ。奴のスタンドが来る。
攻撃開始。
てめえは俺から逃げられねえ。やめろー。俺がこの町を守りますよ。グレートだぜ。
I can't believe you watched this.
Well, there's a main reason I did. Release date of 2017 and available to rent a lot of places. I watched this on Amazon. Directed by Takeshi Miike.
Oh, wow.
And that's why I watched it.
Holy shit.
My God. Known for Lumberjack the Monster, Yakuza Apocalypse, and Over Your Dead Body. 117 directing credits.
Mm-hmm.
Written by Hiroki Arika, who wrote 169 episodes of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Sure.
And Itaro Ira, who wrote The Tiger's Mask and Sword of Desperation, starring Kintu Yamasaki, who was in Death Note, 11 episodes of that, and Mayor, it's 136 episodes of whatever that is. Ryanosuke Kamaki, who's Godzilla -1, Ghost Book, Point Berry in My Brain, 132 credits. Yeah. And Nana Kamatutsu, who's Family of Strangers and Maniac Hero. So the idea is, of course, it takes place in a high school because that seems to be the prime age for anything manga based.
True.
A teen is gifted with supernatural powers, discovers that there might be a curse behind it, and he might be part of a bizarre bloodline he doesn't even know he's a part of. And in the grand tradition of Miike and anime, this movie is batshit crazy in a lot of parts. And I gotta tell you though, the hair design on point. There's some crazy hair in this movie.
Yep.
And the lead for JoJo's trigger for fighting is when somebody makes fun of his hair. Or, he also gets defensive if somebody's in trouble. But the main story that is about people who have these avatars that only other people that have them can see.
Oh.
And the avatars vary wildly. Some of them are just, fighting guys. Others are weird little military units. It's very strange. There's a guy wandering around with a bow and arrow who is shooting people to discover if they are or are not part of the stand group and killing a lot of people because most people are not. Overall, this is a pretty damn entertaining film. The fights are awesome. Unfortunately, there's a large chunk in the middle where they try to go deep on stuff, I guess, and try to do some family kind of things and death in a family, and it feels off. It just isn't where the movie has its strength. So it's a 2-hour run, so it's not ridiculously long, but it could have easily had some of that stuff trimmed down a little bit to make it a little tighter. But the manga originally started in 1987 and has been running nonstop. Well, not nonstop, but up until now, it's still running. But they run it in chapters. It's like episodic. That's why he did this one, because it was one of his favorites. They wanted to do this one. It's very popular. We'll do this chapter. So it's not like the beginning. It's kind of somewhere in the middle. 2016, Toho and Warner Brothers announced they were going to do this. Both studios planned for worldwide distribution with Chapter 1, hoping to create sequels. There is no sequel. There are no sequels. didn't do particularly well. So I'm guessing if you're a lover of the JoJo manga or TV series, maybe this isn't a good adaptation, but it's fun to watch. Mike was so excited about getting the directing job for this one that he didn't sleep for 3 days, planning and working on stuff, I'm assuming. There was lots of talk of changing characters and story, doing a non-Japanese name and background for the lead character, but it was all said, no, we're just sticking with it. Oh, that's right. I remember reading one of the reasons I wanted to do this one is it's one of the few that's wholly Japanese encased. A lot of the stories, I guess, go around the globe. Since I'm not up on my anime news, I went to the review on Anime News from Kim Morrissey called the film surprisingly decent manga adaptation that is accessible to new viewers and praised the action scenes and pacing. Tightly script, cohesive from start to finish. I don't know if I'd quite go from start to finish, but overall, it's a fun watch. It was surprisingly tame for, if you're familiar with Mike's work. But the action was really, and it's really well directed because he knows what the hell he's doing. So it's good. I don't know why it failed, but...
So you said this was Toho and Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
Did it have an American release then?
I don't think so. I couldn't find one. It was shot in Spain and Japan, which seems a little strange, but the releases I found only mentioned Japanese. So I don't know if it did poorly enough in Japan that we're just going to shelve this.
So is it a live action adaptation?
No.
Oh, that's probably why it failed.
They usually do.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, that makes sense.
Having no knowledge of it, I liked it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's how I felt about I Am a Hero, too. I was like, I'm going to pick up the Dark Horse comics, and I'm like, am I going to like this? I'm not a huge manga fan.
Yeah.
So.
I've liked a couple mangas quite a bit, but, like Uzumaki and a couple other ones. But generally, anime and a lot of stuff seem to suffer from two things for me. Way too much story and way too short a time, or way too little story and way too long time.
Right.
This one kind of hit that sweet spot, except where it was like, it's all right.
Yeah, I'm with you there. That's how I feel about a lot of Japanese in particular films. I think they've got weird pacing things, but I think that's a cultural thing.
I think
I'm
it's a cultural
just
thing.
used to the pacing of 3-act structure American films.
Sort of like way back when John Woo hit real big. There's some really strange humor to Americans in a movie that overall is very serious.
Yeah.
But that was Hong Kong movie humor.
Right. Well, cool. Nice job. Sounds like we all liked our films for
did.
once.
Yay, Toho. Good job.
And you guys have given me a couple of films I'm going to have to watch. I think I'm watching Detective Pikachu tonight.
I would put
it.
Yeah. Do that one first. It's just, so, like she said, an easy, fun watch.
Right. So nobody has to choose next week because we're still in Octohober. I'm ridiculously proud of this. Wait to see what happens in November.
Good word for it.
That means that this is the part where we say thanks again to everybody who has been participating in the Value for Value model, which I explained earlier, who's out there liking and sharing posts, who's on the Strange Eons Radio Talk page, which is still my favorite page on Facebook, and who's calling in and the Strange Eons Radio hotline, which is 253-237-4266, also known as the Michael DeBronzo hotline, because DeBronzo's the only one who's got the balls to call us, apparently.
We should just let him be the voice that answers.
We should have him record it.
DeBronzo here. Leave me a message.
I'll pass it along to the guys. Okay, guys, I also have a book out. It just came out today. It is called A Distant Silver Melody. It is a slim volume. It is called a novella because it is not quite novel length.
But it's action-packed enjoyment in that.
And the reviews have been really nice. A lot of people calling it fast-paced and vicious and all that. And it is all of that stuff. It's fast-paced and gory. And, I'm not trying to not sell copies. It is not like The Secret Language of Spiders, which I thought was kind of a thoughtful, depressing horror. This is really gory and very fast-paced werewolf horror.
Excellent.
So it is available now. Go out and consume. That's it, guys. I will see you in 7 short days, and we're talking Toho. See you next Thursday.
Transportation and other considerations for Strange Eons Radio produced by Pan Am Airlines. When you think of traveling, think of Pan Am. You can't beat the experience. Guests of Strange Eons Radio stay at Econo Lodge Everett. It's an easy stop on the road, you know what we mean. Strange Eons Radio is recorded live in front of a studio audience. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider leaving us a positive review on your favorite podcast app. Sit, Ubu, sit.
It was awful, but it wasn't like unwatchable.